Hello, everyone. I'm here today talking to the first American woman to ever go to space. We have a very interesting interview today, so stay tuned to learn the story of how Sally Ride, who was once an ordinary woman, made history by becoming the first United States female astronaut to launch into space. So, first off, how are you doing today?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. So, tell us, what was it like for you growing up in Encino, California?
It was really good. Tennis was a big game, and in my early teenage years, I took up tennis, and within just a few years of playing, I was ranked 18th nationally.
Wow, good job.
Thank you.
So you attended Swarthmore College for a while, but eventually dropped out after a few semesters. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yes, I did enroll at Swarthmore College as a physics major, but I dropped out after 3 semesters to focus and work on my tennis game full time.
You must really like tennis.
I do.
That's good. So in 1970, you gave up tennis and entered Stanford University. What did you major in?
I took a double major in physics and English literature, and I continued at Stanford College for my PhD in physics, where my research focused on absorption of X rays by interstellar gas.
Well, very interesting.
It is.
So how were you chosen to be an astronaut?
While I was studying at the university, I saw an announcement that NASA was looking for young scientists to serve as mission specialists, and I immediately applied.
Sounds good. Must have really piqued your interest.
It did.
So what was the process like to be chosen as an astronaut?
Well, to be chosen as an astronaut, you first have to pass NASA's preliminary process and become one of the 208 finalists. I was flown to Johnson Space Center outside Houston for physical fitness tests, psychiatric evaluation, followed by personal interviews. 3 months later, I became one of the first 6 women chosen as astronaut candidates, and I was a part of the Astronaut Group 8, which formed in 1978.
Sounds like a very long process.
It is, but well worth it.
I bet. So what was the training did you complete once you were an official astronaut?
By the summer of 1979, I had completed all my astronaut training, which included parachute jumping, water survival, radio communications, as well as flying jets. I also received my pilot's license and then became eligible for an assignment as a mission specialist in the U.S. Space Shuttle program. During the next 4 years, I would prepare for my first assignment on mission STS-7, which is the space transport system aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger.
Well, they must have want to make sure you was very well trained.
Yes, they did.
So NASA announced that you and your classmates to the public on January 16th of 1978. After completing astronaut training, your group of astronauts became eligible for ground and flight assignments. Can you elaborate about what your first job as a capsule communicator entailed?
Yes, I served as a capsule communicator on the STS-2 and the STS-3 in late 1981 and early 1982. I became an expert in the usage of the shuttle's robotic arm. On April 30th of 1982, NASA had announced that I would serve as a mission specialist on the STS-7, a satellite deployment and retrieval mission on board the Space Shuttle Challenger. My crewmates were Commander Robert Crippen, pilot Frederick Hawk, or Rick as we called him, and mission specialist John Fabian. NASA also added a physician astronaut named Norman Thagard to the crew in January of 1983 to conduct in-flight studies of space motion sickness, which is a condition that afflicted about 1/3 to 1/2 of the space travelers. Thagard's addition marked the largest crew flown in a single spacecraft to date.
Wow. So in June of 1983, you flew in space on the Space Shuttle Challenger on the STS-7 mission. What was that like for you?
The mission deployed 2 communication satellites and the first shuttle pallet satellite, SPAS-1. I operated the robotic arm to deploy and retrieve SPAS-1 2 days later, which was the first time the shuttle was used to return a spacecraft to Earth. The SPAS-01 satellite took some amazing photographs of the Challenger as the two spacecrafts flew in formation. My second spaceflight was the STS-41G mission in 1984, also on board the Challenger. I spent a total of more than 343 hours in space.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is.
So on July 1st of 1989, you became a professor of the physics at the University of California in San Diego and the director of the California Space Institute, which is part of the university's Scripps Institution of Oceanography. What did your research primarily involve?
My research primarily involved the study of nonlinear optics and the Thomson scattering. I remained director of the Cal Space Unit until 1996. I retired from NASA in 1987 and I started working at the University of California in San Diego. I started looking for ways to help women and girls who wanted to study science and mathematics. I came up with the idea for NASA's EarthCam project, which is a project that lets middle school students take pictures of Earth using a camera that's on board the International Space Station. Students then study the pictures and learn from them. In 2007, I retired from the UCSD and became a professor. From the mid-1990s until my death, I led 2 public outreach programs for NASA, the ISS EarthCam and the Grail MoonCam projects, in cooperation with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and UCSD.
Wow. You did a lot in your lifetime.
Yes, I was added to the Astronaut Hall of Fame in 2003, which honors astronauts for their hard work.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming in for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.